Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Gauranitai, Jai Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jayo Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha. Jayo Jagannatha, Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jayo Lochandas Thakur, Jayo Lochandas Thakur. Jai 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 Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Lochandas Thakur ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have with us His Grace Krishna Anand Prabhu. So I'll give a brief introduction. Such many devotees here know Prabhuji. At the same time, some may be new. So I'll give a brief introduction of Prabhu. So Prabhu he appeared in 15 November 1962 in Mumbai, and he was very brilliant in academics. At the age of 15 itself, in 1977, he met Srila Prabhupada in the Pandal program which was happening in Bombay. And then eventually in Juhu, he was with His Holiness Gopalakrishna Goswami Maharaj, His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj, who would personally give him Mahaprasad and give him care. And he did his BTech from IIT BHU, and eventually he went to Rice University. Rice University is one of the very prominent universities in the West. With full scholarship he did there. And then there he became a celibate monk, and as a saffron brahmachari he returned to India. And eventually then Prabhu has been preaching to lakhs of people actually, If you go to any part of India, devotees are very fond of Prabhuji. Prabhuji, would like to take it? Okay, yes. So Prabhu is like...
Bhagavatam class is very short, so.
So he has actually touched the lives of lakhs of devotees. Many of us who are sitting here today, actually our lives, we have been nourished by Prabhuji's lectures. He's like modern Narad Muni, traveling different places, takes us to yatras, gives us deep appreciation for the holy name, the Gaur Leela. So he has touched that like that every day. Prabhuji chants for many decades. He has been chanting 32 plus rounds. And he has great joy in sharing Gaur Leela. It just comes naturally. And even many congregation devotees, brahmacharis and congregation alike, love to have his association. Prabhuji was in Kurukshetra. Initially, he joined in 1980s in Gopinath temple. He was taking care of the computer department. He started compiling holy name glories from all religions. And then at NIT Kurukshetra, he became a faculty. And he would go there to raise funds for he became a faculty. And he was living only on khichdi, So he's a very ideal example of a renounced Vaishnava. And Prabhu has been very instrumental in making Nigadi, Kolhapur, Beed, Goa, many such satellite centers come up and now become wonderful temples. So Prabhu has also been a president for the ISKCON Pune temple, and many devotees here actually have fond love for him. And so here he comes regularly. Prabhuji is very kind that he has kept home base as Pune now, and he regularly comes, and we are very fortunate. I would like to request his guest Radha Shambhu.
Hare Krishna. Many people, when they hear Krishnananda Prabhu did his computer science from Rice University, they consider that to be a very rare, amazing achievement. But according to me, more than that, he got the priceless jewel of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's moment of Krishna consciousness, which he adores the most in his heart. He hardly cares for any material degrees or anything. So when he was studying in Houston, when he was staying in Houston, he told that he used to stay in the temple and go to Rice University. There was one Kalakanta Prabhu. He saw that he's a student and he wants a copy of Bhagavatam, and it will be nice if he gets a copy. So he arranged for Bhagavatam set for him. So after that, Prabhuji was so inspired reading the Shrimad Bhagavatam, he said, now wherever he goes, if a student doesn't have Bhagavatam, Prabhuji says, I will provide you Bhagavatam. He has donated hundreds of Bhagavatam sets to so many students across the country, being inspired by Prabhupada's Bhagavatam purports. So after his studies in America, when he came back in Kurukshetra, he joined NIT Kurukshetra. He used to go in the same dress as saffron teacher to the college to teach computer science. Can you imagine a computer science teacher coming in saffron and teaching you? The college. So most boys, more than computers, they became interested in Krishna. So, I was thinking this is very similar to Lord Chaitanya going to meet Ishwarapuri and coming back, and then his school turned into his Nyaya school turned into a Krishna conscious school. He made everybody chant in Harihara and Nama Krishna, like that. So, and of course, Krishnananda stayed with Shukadeva Maharaj. Some of you may be aware. Shukadeva Maharaj is another big genius. He is a MD from America. So one MD doctor from America, one MS from Rice University, both were staying together. But they both were simply like as simple as Rup Sanatan, living with a loin cloth and a simple cloth in Vrindavan. They were living such austere lives. And if you want to know how austere they were in Kurukshetra, they used to be chanting in one place, and they were eating dry roti. So one fellow who was going for jogging in the morning, one millionaire saw these two people are so austere, he felt pity. He donated a place also, I heard, after that. So they were going on bicycle. Can you imagine two foreign returned people going on bicycle? So they were utterly simple. So when I met him in 91, 92, those days, His Grace Devamrit Prabhu introduced me to him. Because Devamrit Prabhu told me that, you should not all the time demand my time. And I will introduce you to another wonderful devotee. And then he introduced me to him. In my very first introduction, Prabhuji asked me, how many rounds you chant? I said, 4. I said, I chant 4 rounds. He said, today you can try 8 rounds. And then he made me sit and I asked Prabhuji, Prabhuji, your rounds are over. He said, my rounds are over, but for you I will chant 4 more. That's my first introduction to Prabhu. And then within a week, next week when I came, Prabhuji said, I'm going to Kolhapur, would you like to accompany me? So I accompanied Prabhuji to Kolhapur in the train, and he read out from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even the new people in the train, they were amazed by his narration of Chaitanya Leela. With such excitement and such enthusiasm, Gauranga, he would shout, he would Haribol. Everybody in the train would participate, big crowds of people around him. So he was so enthusiastic since, and I have seen him from the very early days, 91, 92, up to today. His enthusiasm has been increasing exponentially. It never diminished even one bit also. So he is one of my role model leaders in ISKCON, from whom I draw a lot of inspiration. So when I was sent to Pune in 1995, at the time he was the president of the temple. 95, 96, 2 years he was the president, and till Janmashtami 97. So 2.5 years he was running the temple. How beautiful he was running the temple. Morning he would conduct the whole morning program. 9 o'clock prasad he will give. 9:30 he will put all the devotees in auto and tell them, get out of the temple. Nobody should be in the temple. Go out, distribute books, do services. So that is why I am what I am today, is because of such wonderful examples of Prabhuji. So I can tell you a dozen more things, but if I say, then class will not get enough time. So another occasion I will talk more about him. Now let us welcome Krishnananda Prabhu to Sri Radha Chandra Temple. Hari Bol!
Class time begins from now. Actually, I'll just speak 2 minutes. Some Jadati Pratigrinati. Actually, I may have apparently helped Radheshyam Prabhu, but actually, now we see what Radheshyam Prabhu is doing. I may have lifted up one grain, but he has lifted a whole mountain. I may have tried to help few students, but all of you are here. Everybody knows you are all here by the inspiration of Radheshyam Prabhu. And more than anything else, what I appreciate in him is his ability to find good in others, even in a person like me. That is, everybody knows my innumerable faults. Even if you don't know, I can reveal. But Prabhu always sees the good. Not only me, any devotee he will glorify, and that only one person who is free from envy he can do like this. You can find many preachers, they are all good, but Radheshyam Prabhu, I consider him to be the best, especially in college preaching. Hari Bol! To be followed later. I bow down to you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Shrimad Bhagvatam, 6th canto, chapter 2, verse number 44. Sakam vihaya sa vipro Mahapurusha kinkare Haimam vimanam aruya Yayo yatra shriyapatihi Sakam vihaya sa vipro Mahapurusha kinkare Haimam vimanam aruya Yayo yatra shriyapatihi Sakam vihaya sa vipro Mahapurusha kinkare Hemam vimanam aruya Yayo yatra shriyapati. Mataji's? Sakam, along, Vihayasa, by the path in the sky or the airways, Vipraha, the Brahman Ajamil, Mahapurusha Kinkare, with the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Hemam, made of gold, Vimanam, an airplane, Aruya, boarding, Yayo, went, Yatra, where, Shriyapati, Lord Vishnu, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Accompanied by the order carriers of Lord Vishnu, Ajamil boarded an airplane made of gold. Passing through the airways, he went directly to the abode of Lord Vishnu, the husband of the goddess of fortune. Purport. For many years, material scientists have tried to go to the moon, but they are still unable to go there. However, the spiritual airplanes from the spiritual planets can take one back home, back to Godhead in 1 second. The speed of such a spiritual plane can only be imagined. Spirit is finer than the mind. When everyone has experience of how swiftly the mind travels from one place to another, if one can imagine the swiftness of the spiritual form by comparing it to the speed of the mind. In less than even a moment, a perfect devotee can return home back to Godhead immediately after giving up his material. I'll repeat. In less than even a moment, perfect devotee can return home back to Godhead immediately after giving up his material body. Om Agyantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshta Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamshta Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. It's very inspiring and joyful to see how Srila Prabhupada's dream is coming true. Srila Prabhupada especially wanted the youngsters, the college students, to take to Krishna consciousness seriously. In one letter, Prabhupada wrote like this, that even one of these students in the college becomes a devotee is worth 100 of other persons. So His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu is so much empowered by the causeless mercy of Srila Prabhupada. I congratulate him and the organizers for arranging this wonderful festival of devotees coming together to hear the message of Srila Prabhupada and practice it. This is one thing which I have gained inspiration from His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, that it is very good to become a good preacher, but even more difficult is achar. There is achar and prachar. Not Nibu achar, some other achar. Achar means behavior. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dear associate Haridas Thakur is one example. Sanatana Goswami was glorifying Haridas Thakur, because Lord Chaitanya told Sanatana, your body is my property. And why are you trying to commit suicide? Then later, when Lord Chaitanya left, Haridas Thakur was telling Sanatana, see how glorious you are. That Lord is saying that your body is His property. He never spoke like this about me. I am born in India, I am born in Bharatvarsh, but I have no good quality. And Sanatana Goswami, he reverted by saying, actually, Lord Chaitanya has come to give the holy name, and you are Acharya of the holy name. So, and then he spoke like this, that some preach very nicely, but do not behave nicely. See, myself, I was, as Prabhuji introduced me, I was in Kurukshetra, and there are varieties of spiritual institutions. There are many who speak nicely and then they have bad habits like smoking and others. Some behave very nicely, but for some reason they do not preach openly. But about Haridas Thakur it is said that achar prachar tumi dui kare. Both of these things. And you are the topmost of devotees. So Prabhuji Rajshekar is following in the footsteps of great devotees, maintaining sadhana. What I saw him when, as Prabhuji said, 95 onwards he has been coming to Pune. From that time onwards, it's almost 3 decades now. He has not changed in his behavior, just maintaining the same simple attitude, sleeping on the mat. If you go and see his office is like a bhajan kutir, you know. I went to the office thinking that I'll find some good place to take rest, you know. But it's more austere than the ashram, you know. It's very, very inspiring. Although he is my younger brother, so as an etiquette, I'm sitting up today, and out of respect, Yugal Shyam Prabhu and organizers have asked me to speak the introductory class. But actually I feel myself unqualified, very grateful to Radheshyam Prabhu, because I'm good at certain things like Katha, Prabhuji said, but if you see the overall, a devotee should be an all-rounder, managing and preaching. Prabhupada wanted both the things to go side by side. Almost 3 decades Prabhuji has been managing the temple so nicely. And now one, and this Kunja Bihari, and now this temple. So many great devotees like His Suneth Radhanath Maharaj, Suneth Jayapatak Maharaj, Suneth Loknath Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Maharaj, they all love Radheshyam Prabhu, and they are very much impressed with the way he has developed this temple and overall youth preaching, the future of our movement. Hare Krishna. Little bit about the shloka and then Lochan Das Thakur. This particular passage of Ajamil is very hope-giving for all of us. We are all conditioned souls. We are bound helplessly by the modes of material nature. As practicing sadhakas, we have so many anarthas. We have lusty desires. We become angry easily. We are greedy for Even in the realm of devotional service, we have greed for position and for material acquisitions, subtle sex life. And even though we may be chanting, still these anarthas do not go away easily. The process is gradual, krama. Sometimes we become disappointed and we feel, what is my hope? I am giving my life. Many of you are in the brahmacharya ashram or grahasthas like our dear Rasvigra Prabhu, as good as a sannyasi, totally dedicated. Every day I find him here, either doing altar puja or chanting. So still, in spite of our dedicating every morning program, in spite of being a very sincere, still we have anarthas. So sometimes we become a little disappointed or morose or feel dejected that what hope is there? Am I wrong in my practices? But the story of Ajamil gives us hope that even if a devotee has shortcoming, Krishna is in control. You see, Krishna is ultimately, he is the Lord of all lords, including Maya Devi. Chaye vayasya bhuvanani bibarti Durga. Durga Devi is simply like a shadow. Like the hand moves and the shadow moves. Durga Devi is acting according to Krishna's command. So if a devotee is sincerely trying, although apparently Maya Devi is obstructing, placing many obstacles, but ultimately all of the obstacles are just to make a devotee more determined, more committed. Krishna consciousness means it is a matter of commitment, seriousness. Srila Prabhupada emphasizes this point, sincerity and seriousness. It is Krishna consciousness is not a leisure exercise. It is not a hobby. In the beginning, for newcomers, we may encourage like that also. That just come here, just see the deities and have nice prasad. But as we advance, we have to go deeper into our sadhana. And these anarthas are, in a way, the anarthas do not leave us. That one good thing about that is that makes us more serious. That makes us realize how vulnerable we are and how powerful Maya is. Sometimes we hear about so many devotees who have been active in the movement for long and then they are carried away. So one devotee asked this question to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, how is it this devotee who is so much committed? He was like Prabhupada's right-hand man or very intimate. How is that such devotees, they leave Krishna consciousness altogether? Sometimes Maya washes completely. Prabhupada replied that, do not be surprised at who leaves, but be surprised at who stays. So it's a challenge. It's a challenge lifetime. That's why I, not just out of etiquette, but out of deep respect, I glorify Srila Prabhupada disciples who are actively preaching and who are continuing on the legacy, continuing on the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Such stalwarts like Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Srila Jayapada Swami Maharaj, Srila Loknath Maharaj, Srila Radhanath Maharaj, and so many others, Chandramauli Maharaj. Tomorrow Trivikram Maharaj is coming. He'll be giving class the day after tomorrow. And so many. They have all gone through so many difficulties, either on the level of the body or institutional level, but they maintained. Krishna consciousness means just be determined. Just be determined. Persistent. Persistent effort is required. As we know in the Damodar Leela, there is endeavor and mercy. Endeavor means to go on trying. Even if anarthas are haunting us, even though we may not experience any symptoms of love of God. Nayanam Galadashrudharaya is very far. Nayanam Unmilitam, at least our eyes should be open. I'm sure any of you now must have opened their eyes. It's a challenge. I asked this question several times to many senior devotees, and the answer was the same, that yes, just go on trying. Just go on trying. One devotee asked Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj in Mayapur. I remember I was there several years back. Then Maharaj, when I was first beginning to chant, I was quite good person. But since I started chanting, so many bad habits, so many bad thoughts are coming. Is it the right mantra? What should I do? So Maharaj very nicely answered that just go on chanting. The anarthas are coming out. And in the end, Krishna is there. In one story in Ramanujacharya's Leela, it is explained that there is Kanchipurna. In fact, our dear Radheshyam Prabhu's birthplace is very close to Ramanujacharya's birthplace. Chennai? Madurai, yes. But same, within the same radius, coverage. They imbibe that mood. So when devotee asked this question, and Kanchipurna could talk to Lord Varadraj directly, like what we say live, face to face, immediate answers. So he asked the Lord, whatever Ramanujacharya, actually Ramanujacharya is much more exalted in one sense. He is apparently the disciple of Goshti Purna, and you can say Shiksha disciple of Kanchi Purna, Mahapurna, Shaila Purna. But still, he is actually more exalted, but the etiquette has to be followed. So whatever he wanted to ask, he would not ask directly. He would ask Kanchipurna to ask the Lord. There are many questions, and one of them was that, what if a devotee does not remember the Lord at the time of death? Because we don't know when death will come and what thoughts we get. Most of our minds are crazy. Crazy means not fixed on Krishna means crazy. Anything other than Krishna is craziness. So it's very difficult to predict what time the button will be clicked. It's like a moving reel and the death comes. It's not a planned thing. So the answer was, the Lord replied that even if my devotee does not remember me, if he has given his life, if he has just surrendered to me and has tried to serve my mission in a sincere way, to whatever way capacity possible, in the end, I will take him back to God. Once Tamal Krishna Maharaj asked this similar question. Tamal Krishna Maharaj, one of our great leaders, so much dedicated to Prabhupada. Like he was kind of inseparable from Prabhupada, especially in the preaching in India. He was always there next to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada trusted him so much for all decisions. So, once Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, what if I am serving your orders, serving Krishna, preaching, and I'm so busy, I'm not remembering Krishna. So, what will happen to me? Where will I go? Goloka or Yamaloka? Last sentence I added, but dear Rupanuk Prabhu has come all the way from Delhi. How would you answer this question, Prabhuji? What if you're not remembering Krishna at the time of death? Yes, anybody would like to speak? No negative markings. Something similar. Prabhupada replied, Lord Chaitanya will force himself into your mind. Gauranga. So that is our hope, So we may be counting books, scores, we may be distributing books, we may be doing college preaching, somebody may be cooking, and directly you may not be remembering Krishna all the time. At an advanced stage, remembrance of Krishna becomes natural. Then there is no need. Even then a devotee chants, to set an example. Ultimately, the aim is Kirtaniya Sadha. But at a neophyte stage like myself, even if we are not remembering Krishna directly, but we are serving the mission of Krishna, directly or indirectly, small way, big way, Hanumanji or squirrel, doesn't matter. Krishna just will force himself. That thought will, just like sometimes now, material thoughts sometimes forced during japa, but Krishna can do the other way around also. We should have this full faith that kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. Krishna can do something and undo something. Lord Chaitanya. In the story of Ajamil, we are saying Ajamil, he was a very good devotee. He was engaged in deity worship. He became just by the power of Maya, he became overwhelmed just seeing the Shudra embracing. So he gave up his spiritual practices, as you all know, indulged in so many sinful activities. Practically, he became lower than a normal human being also. But somehow he got mercy of great soul, who advised him to keep the son's name as Narayan. Contact with great personalities is the secret to success. Mahat Seva. Even if somebody apparently does not follow the instruction of the great soul, but he comes into contact, there will be some purification. Like Narada Muni and the story of Nalakuver and Manigriv. Narada Muni was passing by and Nalakuver and Manigriv. Apparently they were they acted shamelessly. They not even cover themselves. Even an ordinary person would do, even seeing other ordinary, the great devotees walking. Narad Muni apparently is cursing them. But a saintly person will never do anything or say anything or think of anything which is not for the welfare of others. He is always thinking of how to benefit others. Even the anger of a great devotee is mercy. And even the smile of a materialistic person is actually a curse. The great person may say, oh, what is your today? Today is your birthday. I bless you. You get nice family life, nice wealth, good money, degree, and eventually go to lower species. And Narad Muni is cursing somebody to become a tree. I think it's even to say somebody becomes a human being, that is in a lower species is worse. But tree is one of the lowest, right? Among the 8,400,000, trees are the very least developed in consciousness. Just standing, It's like sometimes you may remember in your Balya Leela when you were in school, you do something wrong, you asked to stand up on the bench. Right, Prabhat Prabhu? You don't have to say yes, but every one of us has gone through. Stand for half an hour, 1 hour maximum. But your trees are standing for several years. They can't use any cell phones also. Nobody to call. And they're just conscious and not enough conscious to speak or to. The tree is one of the very lowest species. But tree in Vrindavan, in Gokul. And then with the additional advantage that in the end Krishna will appear and he will deliver you. Somehow that mercy of a great devotee. Explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Bhakti Moola hai Sadhu Sangha. The root of all devotional service is association with devotees. And that is why this kind of camps and programs are very important. The whole purpose is we come together to hear and chant and inspire each other. Machita Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. So Ajamil, Nalakuver, Manigriv, they became trees, and eventually Krishna came and delivered them, and they were promoted to the spiritual world. So Krishna knows what is best for every devotee. In the end, he will pull us all back to God. Sarvalakshan Prabhu I was asking him book distribution. He said this time book distribution is a little slow. So we are discussing why Krishna doesn't send everybody here so that each day we can have 10,000 Gitas going out, But if that were the case, Krishna can exhaust the whole go down in 1 minute. But then Sarvalakshan Prabhu will go to sleep. All the bhakti lakshans will go away. So Krishna is always giving us some opportunity to serve. Krishna can make all the colleges Krishna conscious. Then Radheshyam Prabhu will go to Badrika Ashram. Krishna is just giving us some service. If you see from the absolute point of view, what is our role? We see from the spiritual world, what is Krishna thinking about Krishnananda Das? That that gunny bag is there with so many mustard seeds, or the universe is out of that one small mustard seed, and then the small earth, small India, small Pune, small Katraj, small temple, and that small devotee is giving lecture and is thinking how great I am. Krishna can just throw the whole bucket out. So we are all helpless. So we are doing something just to please Krishna. Coming to the story of Ajamil, he followed the instruction. So he became, he gave the son named Narayan. He remembered his son. He was not calling Lakshmi Narayan. He was calling Ajamil Nandan Narayan. he was calling his son. And any person could understand. It's not that Vishnudutas are fools. They could also understand that he's not calling Narayan. But see how kind Krishna is. Knowing that he is erring, he is on the wrong side, still he gets the benefit of doubt. So who is more merciful than Krishna? And the other, even more extreme than that, is the case of Putana. That is, Ajamil did not give poison. But Putana was so more glorious, so more magnanimous, that she wanted to give poison to the Supreme Lord. Still Krishna delivered us. Kamva dayalu sharanam brajim. Who can? The story was told by Mukunda Dutt. Spoke to Pundrik Vidyanidhi. The story, and Pundrik Vidyanidhi is sitting on the asan, decorated himself, combing his hair, and I think it's Gadadhar Pandit who comes to meet him along with Mukunda Dutt. Gadadhar Pandit is thinking, what is this? He's sitting on the asan and he has mirrors looking, he's combing his hair. Which center is he coming from? Who is his counselor? Generally, we see a devotee, we think, oh, he's from Delhi. So we get some inspiration of Dwarka, so we take inspiration. So but Mukunda could understand, so he sang this beautiful verse, Aho Bakiyam Stanakala Good. Krishna is so merciful. And as soon as Pundrik Vidyanidhi heard this, he exhibited symptoms of love of God. So that faith should be there, that Krishna will, somehow he will take more. Krishna can take me back to Godhead whenever he likes. As long as you are calculating, when will I go back to Godhead, you will not go back to Godhead. Just give up this calculating mentality. I'm just yours, Krishna. I'm just surrendered to you. Even purifying me is your job. I'm a small child. The child has fallen to the gutter. The mother picks up the child and bathes the child and decorates the child. So we are all in this material existence is like a deep gutter or some very obnoxious place. The Guru and Krishna, they are purifying us. It will take some time. And that time is also dependent on Krishna. Krishna can do it in 1 second. Like Prabhupada says here, that a devotee, he goes back to Godhead in less than a moment. That final stage, less than a moment. But you have to keep being patient. Like Giriraj Maharaj was here a few weeks back, and I was fortunate to meet him a little bit, and he was explaining this point about Utsaha and Dharya, that both have to go together. Utsaha has to be there, yes, I must do something, and patience. If you only have patience, you will not do anything. Probably you go and distribute books, no, Krishna will do patience. And that is also not good. But if you are very utsahi but not patient, like accelerator and brake, if you are a good car driver, you should be good at acceleration but also put brakes whenever needed. If you just put brakes, the car will stop. So you have to keep moving. In Krishna consciousness, secret is, like in cricket we say, to remain not out. Sometimes you may have good 4s and 6 and suddenly you are clean bowled. What is important is just to remain not out. If the score is less. So especially, of course for everybody, but especially for those aspiring for renounced order of life, it's very important to be very determined. Or those who want to be grihasthas, but exemplary grihasthas. To remain not out means to be impeccable in sadhana, pure, maintaining purity. results may or may not become manifest. But what is the result we are aspiring for? Is purity of heart. So here finally Ajamil, he got another chance. The Vishnudutas and Yamadutas had conversation. Yamaduta said, he is our qualified guest. He has passed all the entrance exam for Yamaloka. But Vishnuduta said, no, he has chanted the holy name. The matter went to Yamaraj, and Yamaraj said, do not bring devotees here. Only those who are not taking shelter of Krishna you can bring here. And Prabhupada writes in the purport that Yamadutas were somewhat disappointed. Itna mehnat karke pakad ke le aaya isko. Somehow we caught hold of him and now he is going completely free. And Prabhupada writes, from that day onwards, Yamadutas, when they see Vaishnavas, they run away in fear. They see Kantimala, Tilak, or the devotees chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. When they see that the Yamadutas are running away, they see devotees, they run away in fear. Little bit I like to speak about Lochan Das Thakur. Actually, one more point Prabhupada writes in the purport that for non-devotees, Yamadutas are dangerous. And then Prabhupada says, for Yamadutas, devotees are dangerous. When a Yamaduta see devotees, says, Arey, don't you remember 6th canto, Bhago, run away. We don't. Today is also the appearance day. What is appearance day? Appearance day of Shri Lochan Das Thakur. Actually, very, very special personality. Prabhupada would love his songs. Once Prabhupada was in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was singing this song, Parama Karuna Pahudui Jana, and he just fell into a state of ecstasy. He could not control himself. Then he spoke, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, they are so merciful that they've come to this remote place. Prabhupada was thinking America is a remote place and Mayapur is a more prominent place. At that time, Mayapur, there was not even facilities to reach so easily. So this particular song, Parama Karuna, was very dear to Srila Prabhupada. I'll just speak few important lines. Parama Karuna Pahudvijana Nitai Gaura Chandra. These two personalities, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they are most merciful. Saba Avatara Sara Shiromani Kevala Ananda Kanda. That they are the essence of all avatars. Sara Shiromani. Best of all, crest jewel of. Why? Because they are not differentiating. Dina Hina Yatachilo Hari Namuddha. They are giving Krishna consciousness to one and all. And Bhajo Bhajo Bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrida Vishwas Kar. Should have this faith. That faith is the essence of devotional service. That just by chanting Hare Krishna, by taking shelter of Gaur Nitai, I can cross over this material world. No matter how powerful the anarthas may be, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda's mercy is more powerful. And Kevala Ananda Kanda. The process is Ananda Kanda. Prabhupada gave almost half an hour lecture on this point, Ananda Kanda. He said Kevala Ananda Kanda means the process is chanting, dancing and feasting. He didn't say lecture also. Antadi Prabhu, we should change the pattern from next time. It says only chanting, dancing, feasting. Why do we have such long lectures? Because to just increase faith in chanting and dancing. To just increase this faith. That's the summit, the crest, the quintessence of all knowledge is to develop that faith, Nama Nami Abhinatvam. That there's no difference between Krishna and His holy name. All the knowledge of all these Shastras, Vedecha, Ramayana, Chaiva, Itihasa, Purana, all the 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, they all culminate in this 2 syllable, Hari, Hari. Hari, 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 Hari. Just chant Hari, 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 Hari. Knowingly, unknowingly, just. What is the time? Hari, Hari. What time is Prasad? Hari, Hari. Where do we go after death? Hari, Hari. Like one devotee asked Prabhupada, in 1970s, after the Indo-Pak war, there was chances of another war, World War III. The news was everywhere, it was quite possible. So devotees were consulting Prabhupada that in case there is a war, what should the devotees do? So they hide themselves in the bunkers, like, underground bunkers. Prabhupada said, no, just chant Hari, Hari. The bomb falls, Hari, Hari. If it misses you, Hari, Hari. If it hits you, Hari, Hari. Now it may seem like a joke, but actually the name of Hari is inclusive of everything. You must pray sincerely to Lochan Das Thakur. Vaishnavas are very merciful, especially on appearance day and disappearance day, that please give me that faith in Gaur Nitai. This was essential teaching. His Gurudev is Narahari Sarkar. His Guru told him, he was the resident of Sri Khanda, and his Gurudev told him that you should write this book about Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. And he sat down under one tree. The tree is still there. Some of you have seen that tree. Underneath we sat down and he wrote on a stone slab, he wrote all the beautiful verses in Panchala Rag. This whole book is written, Chaitanya Mangal is written in a poetry form. Like Tukaram Maharaj's Abhangas are there. In Odisha also you have many devotees there write. If you sing something, it becomes easy to remember. Like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So if you just sing the verses. So Lochan Das Thakur is writing this song. This whole book, one of our dear devotees, Sarvasakshi Prabhu from Delhi has did a translation in Hindi along with the verses. First time somebody has done this. So this whole book is written in the form of poetry. Interestingly, Lochan Das Thakur, he was something like he was supposed to get married but remain brahmachari, right? Something like this. I was like Nityanand Sabha but became Gaurang Sabha. So, now I'm not planning any conversions here. But this story is very important. How a devotee should address every woman as mother. Not only brahmachari, but even grahastha, apart from his wedded wife, he should address every woman as Mataji. So it so happened that Lochan Das Thakur's marriage was fixed when he was very young, 5-6 years old. In those times it was common. Even during Prabhupada's time also. The daughter would become 8 to 10 years, there would be great anxiety. She is 8 years old, not yet married. So he was married, but he was staying at his home, and the idea is that after the time they would stay together. So Lochan Das Thakur, he was after he grew up, he just was happy to remain single. But then of course his to-be father-in-law, he said, you are supposed to be married. You sent a message. He said, okay, I will come. So he had never been to his in-laws' place. He was asking the way from everybody. Where is the way? Where is the way? In one place he saw one Mataji drawing water from the well. So he asked her, this area, where is this place? And she gave directions. He asked her, Mataji, which is the place? Which is this place? At that time they didn't have Google Maps. So he walked and he reached the home. And he entered the home. He found that that lady whom he had addressed as Mataji was the one whom he was supposed to marry. Hare Krishna. So he told his to-be father-in-law that actually I have addressed her very respectfully, Mataji, and with the same feeling, how can I marry her now? And his father-in-law mercifully said, yes, you can remain brahmachari. So he saw that he had no desire to enter family life. Ultimately, whatever ashram we choose, the main aim is to develop taste for the holy name. But in the case of Lochan Das Thakur, he had no speck of material desires. So his Gurudev blessed him to remain celibate and continue glorifying Lord Chaitanya. This particular book is very instructive. I'll just speak little bit about the some of the pastimes which are recorded in this book. Lochandas Thakur, actually just before I go on, I'll just end that song. Dekho re bhai tribhuvan nai emono dayale data. There's nobody more merciful than Lord Chaitanya Nityananda. Pashu Paki Jhure. What does this mean? Pashu Paki Jhure means even the animals and the birds, they start dancing. All of you know the story of how Lord Chaitanya was traveling to this forest of Jharkhand and he saw a tiger sleeping. What would you do if you are coming for Mangalarti and a tiger is sleeping on the way? Hare Krishna. You will not think that whether I'll get attendance or not. You take U-turn, you know. But Lord Chaitanya slapped the tiger and told him to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. And the tiger got up and started chanting, raised his hands. Hands mean the front legs become like hands, you know. And he was chanting, and then later on the deer was chanting. And then the deer and the tiger were embracing each other. So like a joint Sankirtan. You know. Generally, deer and tiger do not embrace each other because the deer runs away in fear. See the tiger. And the tiger, when he sees the deer, he starts thinking, Mahaprasade Govinde. But the tiger and deer embracing. One devotee explained very nicely that we all have different natures. Some have tiger-like nature, some deer, some like boar. Some are very aggressive, some are very docile, some like to be in the background. But this holy name can unite. Some are Nityanand Sabha, some are Gauranga Sabha, some are Bhishma Dev Sabha. I'm not authorizing, but there are some for some special reason, sometimes to take, like Lord Chaitanya told Raghunath Bhatta Goswami that to take care of his parents and then join. Gopal Bhatta Goswami, you know, that they had some responsibility. So these are all externals. The Varna and Ashram is external. What to speak of Brahmachari Grihastha, but here we find animals of opposite nature, they are coming together by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And the next line is, what is that line? Dekho re bhai Pashu. Bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrida Vishwas Kari and Pashupake Jhure. Pashana Vidare, that even the stone will melt. If you go to this place, has anybody been to this place where Lord Chaitanya delivered the animals? Jharkhand? Near Ranchi, I think. Near Hajari Bagh, that area is there. And there, Charan Pahad, yes. You have been there? Yeah, very good. There are marks of the animals, footprints of the... How fortunate are the elephants also, you know? Can you imagine somebody comes and says, I was one of the elephants here. Haribol. You will be dancing in ecstasy. What is the next line? Dekho re bhai. No, before that. Dekho re bhai and sansare majiya padiya rahila se pade nahi koai. Lochandas Thakur expresses humility. Every Vaishnava you will find the password is humility. Somewhere or other this line will come that I am the most fallen. I'm fallen, I'm degraded. I have no hope. Just one or two stories to end with. Lord Chaitanya's pastimes. You know, interesting thing is, from where did Lochandas Thakur get all the knowledge? Because he did not see Lord Chaitanya personally. And he wrote a wonderful book. He collected from Murari Gupta's book, Chaitanya Charitra Mahakavya, which was in Sanskrit. So he made it into Bengali. So, one interesting story is, before the advent of Lord Chaitanya, Narad Muni was in great distress, seeing the condition of Kali Yuga, people degraded, not following regulative principles. So he went to Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha and he requested that, my dear Lord, please deliver the fallen souls. And Lord told him, do not worry. In the Kali Yuga I am going to appear on the bank of the river Ganga, the son of Mother Shachi. I will appear as Jai Shachi Nandana Gaura Hari. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. Now you go and give this news to everyone. At that time there was no WhatsApp group, so you have to individually go and give a message. Can you imagine now how it would be a WhatsApp group with Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, all the demigods? I do not know whether technology is... Anyway. So he went to all the places. As he was traveling, sometimes he would fall to the ground in ecstasy. Sometimes he would rise. Sometimes he would laugh, with exhibiting all the symptoms of love of God. It is said in one place he would just tighten his dhoti as he was walking. He was falling to the ground. He went to Lord Shiva. He went to Lord Brahma. When he went to Lord Shiva, he was loudly chanting, Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. So Lord Shiva was so happy, and he asked him, you are always joyful, but today you look specially joyful. What is the reason? So Narad Muni explained that I just got the news. The Supreme Personality of God at Krishna is going to appear in his most merciful form as Lord Gauranga. And he gave he gave all the details. But still, Lord Shiva was saying that I think you have received some special mercy. Narad Muni then explained that today I got the remnants, Mahaprasad of the Lord. Lord Shiva asked, how did you get? He said, I went through proper channels. If you want to get Mahaprasad directly, you may not get, but you must have good rapport with one of the backup devotees. That's why I keep good relation with Sri Ram Prabhu. He does service twice a week. But 7 days a week he gets prasad. So he went to Lakshmi Devi. Narayan Prasad you can get only through Lakshmi Devi. So he requested Lakshmi Devi that please give me some Mahaprasad. Lakshmi Devi said, I cannot give without the permission of the Lord. And before taking permission, I have to see whether he is in the proper mood. So Lakshmi Devi had to wait for several years. Can you imagine? Now here you can go behind and get so easily. So he waited. And then one day Lakshmi Devi saw that Lord Narayan was in a good mood. And then she asked, Lord Narayan asked, what do you want? He said, one devotee, Narad Muni, he wants Mahaprasad. And what was Lord Narayan's response? What do you think Narayan will say? Oh, please go take. No. Lord Narayan said, why did you promise something which is so difficult? Lord Narayan said like this, something to that effect. And then he said, okay, when I am not watching, then you can give some prasad. So this is in parampara. When the authority is not watching, only for prasad. Because we have to make strict rules otherwise. But when nobody is watching, So Lord Narayan told Lakshmi to give when I am not watching, and Lakshmi had to wait for some years. And then she gave the Mahaprasad to Narad Muni. Narad Muni immediately honored the prasad and started chanting, Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. And he was again falling into ecstasy. And Lord Shiva said, we are both brothers. Narad Muni is the son of Lord Brahma, and so is Lord Shiva. Why don't you give me some Mahaprasad? Narad Muni said, I have not much left. Okay, little bit is there. So just like he had taken something, and Lord Shiva was not saying, I am Shiva, I will not take your remnants. Prasad mein sab chalta hai, Mahaprasad, somehow or other. Kaviraj Goswami says, Bhakta pada dhuli ara bhakta pada jal, bhakta bhukta avasheshati namah. These three are very powerful. The dust of the Vaishnavas, the remnants of their prasad, and the water that is washed. Somehow or other one must get it. Somehow or other means use your intelligence. This is something which I have not spoken earlier. I am publicly releasing. How I would do is, whenever I wanted to take some dust from some senior sannyasi, like especially Radhanath Maharaj, the sannyasis, they will come to give lectures, so their chappals will be outside for 1 or 2 hours. Hare Krishna. So you can nicely wash them, drink the water, then dry them nicely so that nobody knows. It's one of the tricks. But if you are sincere, Krishna will give you the trick. But you must somehow or other take. But not in a way that the person is offended also. But if you go and say, Maharaj, I want your Mahaprasad, very less chance. Somehow give good relation with his servants, and be kind to them. My dear assistant Abhijit Prabhu, he is doing a lot of service to sannyasis. So he has got a lot of Mahaprasad. So I take help of him to get. So many sannyasis are visiting. Pune temple is one of the opulences. So many visiting sannyasis are there. Great Aishwarya because of the wonderful atmosphere of hospitality and service. So many devotees are attracted. So anyway, so Lord Shiva, when he took the prasad, he was started chanting, Gauranga, 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 Gauranga. And he actually fell to the ground. Then he got up. And as he was dancing, the whole earth was trembling. It was like an earthquake. And Ananta Shesh, who is holding all the universe, he drew his hoods behind just to see Hari Bol, Kaun aaye? Who is dancing? And then finally, Parvati came out. I'm sorry. Mother Earth came to Parvati and said, please, please control your husband. This is not the time for pralay. Then Parvati spoke some harsh words just to control her husband. Lord Shiva, he stopped dancing. He was upset. He said, why did you disturb my dancing? Parvati begged forgiveness. Please forgive me, but this is not the time for the Tandav Nritya, and the Lord Shiva was pacified. Then she asked, but today you were dancing in so much ecstasy. You always dance, but what is special? Today I got the Mahaprasad of Lord Narayan. That's why I was in ecstasy. Parvati said, I thought, I am your wife. I am Ardhangani. We are supposed to get half. What about me? Lord Shiva, he behaved like a, hand unpacked husband. Like not a hand-packed husband. He said, no prasad for you. Hare Krishna. Lord Shiva can do like that. Others, if they do, will be in trouble, Lord Shiva, he just walked out. But Parvati said, I am also powerful. I am the Shakti of the Lord. So she went to Mayapur in Simanta Dweep and performed tapasya for thousands of years. And finally she saw the beautiful form of Lord Gauranga. And then she took the dust of Lord Gauranga and put on her, parting between the hairs, called Simanta Dweep. Simanta Dweep. And then she prayed, I want the Mahaprasad. And not only that, I want that some place on the planet, there should be a place where everyone, the Brahmanas and the Shudras, they should all get your Mahaprasad. The Lord said, do not worry. There's one place where Mahaprasad is given without differentiation, and that is Jagannath Puri. In Vrindavan, you get purification by dust, Mayapur by chanting, and Puri by eating prasad. That place, what is that place where the prasad is sold? Everybody remembers. They may not remember the lecture details, but so now we come to the last two stories are left. Just 2 minutes, actually. One is the story of the. You know that Prabhupada has been predicted in Lochan Das Thakur's book. You know that Prabhupada is coming. It is said. Our Sakshi Prabhu has given that verse. Sarva Sakshi, Senapati. Yadi papi chhadi dharma, bolo? Dure desh jai. Suppose some people were sinful, if they go to distant place like America, Europe, Greece, Mora Senapati, Bhakta jaibe tathai. My Senapati, that means the general, will go to deliver them. And that is the prediction about His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the Prabhupada ki jai. There's a beautiful story about one dog being delivered. In fact, the Mango Festival story is also from this book. Lord Chaitanya and the devotees, they were traveling, and it was almost 9:30, time for breakfast, and they did not have coupons, or somehow they had not registered, something like this, Or sorry, there was no prasad, what to speak. So Lord Chaitanya took a mango seed and planted a tree, and within few seconds there was nice succulent fruits. One devotee climbed up and took out 200 fruits and gave to one devotee, to each devotee one fruit. And the fruits were special. They were seedless, skinless. Like we have seedless dates nowadays, See, seedless, skinless mangoes. You can eat them like rasgulla. Generally, if you eat a mango, the problem is everybody will know because there will be seeds there. But here you can keep it in a box and just... One devotee gave a nice purport. Lord Chaitanya has come to give bhakti, which is like mango, without the seed and the skin, which is like karma and jnana. Anya vilashita shunyam, jnana karma dhyanavrita. And the last story is about the puppy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he delivered a puppy. Before that, Murari Gupta was practicing bhakti but also mixing with Mayavadis. So Lord Chaitanya told him, today I will teach you a lesson during Prasadam. He was thinking, what lesson will he teach me? So in the afternoon he was honoring Prasad, he was honoring, and Lord Chaitanya came, a little child walking without clothes. And he came to the door and smiled and said, Murari, I have come. And Murari was eating and thinking, yes, he told me he will teach a lesson. What kind of lesson? He came very near and just very close to the plate and passed urine. And what can you do after that, So Lord Chaitanya smiled and said, just like in this prasad, if you mix this thing, it's not very palatable. Similarly, bhakti, if you mix karma and jnana, it's not very good. So you should give up this practice. And coming to the puppy story, Lord Chaitanya was very, very naughty. He was very naughty. One day he was just traveling and he just took a hand of one friend and said, chant Hari Hari. Then he saw another person said Hari Hari. And then one professor was coming from VIT and he was supposed to reach the college at 9 o'clock. And Lord Chaitanya grabbed him and said, chant Hari Hari, Hari Hari, Hari Hari. And he forgot his appointments, And then his mother came and said, Nimai, what are you doing? Are you the son of a very, unkept child? And then he asked the professor, what are you doing here? And they could not understand. They were mesmerized. Chachimata took Nimai back. But then Nimai ran away after some time, started playing with a dog. There are many dogs, puppies, some grey, some white, some black. And Nimai selected the best one and said, this is mine. And all the friends said, Nimai, you are very naughty, you are taking the best. I like. So he took the dog home. Chachimata said, we are Brahmanas. Brahmanas don't entertain dogs. Nimai said, if you don't allow the dog, I will also not stay here. Chachimata had to allow. And Nimai was playing with the dog, caressing the dog and showing love to the dog. And finally, when Nimai had gone out, Chachimata unleashed the dog so that the dog would go back. And Nimai came back and he was very upset. Puppy, where's my puppy? Kukur kotha gela, kukur kotha gela. He was feeling very dejected. He started looking around for the dog. And then he saw the dog was on the bank of the Ganga. And there were many, many people listening to him. He was like a kukur satsang program, And he was instructing everybody to somehow or other take shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. And Lochan Das Thakur concludes this story by saying that within few minutes, everybody was chanting the holy name. And then to the surprise of everyone, by the Lord's will, the kukura left his body. And then a vimana came, a golden plane. Just like in today's verse, it is said, Hemam Vimanam. Hema means gold. Similar plane for Ajamil and similar plane for Puppy. A golden plane came surrounded with many associates of Lord Vishnu to escort him back home, back to God. And Lochan Das Thakur ends the story by saying, Aiche daya kare Shachiranandan. How merciful is Lord Gauranga, that is showing mercy to even a dog. We are all conditioned. A person like me is lower than a dog. But Lord Chaitanya is merciful even to dog. We should aspire to become dogs of the spiritual master, dogs of Prabhupada's servant. Shivananda Sen had a dog, and the dog, Shivananda Sen would feed him prasad. And then he to cross the river, he helped him. When the dog disappeared, Shivananda was fasting, blaming himself. And to the great surprise, the dog had already reached Jagannath Puri. They all walked, took them several days, and he went by Havda Puri Express or something. And Lord Chaitanya took out some coconut pulp and fed with his own hand to the dog. You see, can you imagine if a dog even sees the offering, it is considered to be unclean. But Lord Chaitanya is feeding to the dog. And the dog went back to God. So these are some wonderful instances. I would recommend this book to be read by devotees. Very beautiful translation by our Sarvasakshi Prabhu, disciple of Srila Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And already English translations are also available for those who want. So we can just pray today for the causeless mercy of Srila Lochandas Thakur, that we can imbibe that faith in the mercy of Gauranga and Nityananda, faith in the holy name. That faith is the substance of religion. That faith is our sign of advancement. Let us pray sincerely to Lochandas Thakur and to all the acharyas to give us faith on the holy name, faith in the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Lochandas Thakur ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you. Hare Radheshyam Prabhu may have some comments. Prabhuji says I can take one question if there is any. The question is, what time is prasad? I have already delayed. But
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It was very, it was very good lecture, very nice lecture. And my question is, how can we develop that faith in Prabhupada, serving his movement? I want to connect millions of hearts by Prabhupada's message, because I am worshipping Krishna just because I have read Prabhupada book and it has touched me so hard. Since then I am chanting 16 round and I have committed Prabhupada. No matter what, I will chant 16 round. So how can we get clarity in mind, purity in heart, sincerity in action to serve Prabhupada?
Hari, your words show that you are already on the path. We are all on the path. We may not get complete faith in one day. Like if you want to become an engineer, first thing is you must take guidance from a professor. You must take admission in a good college. Like our Rasvigar Prabhu is a professor, and materially and spiritually giving knowledge. So you go to such a professor and then take some guidance in an institute. Like ISKCON is an institute which helps devotees develop faith in Prabhupada and faith in the message of Lord Chaitanya. And then even after getting registered in the college, even with the influence of the professor, still it will take 3 or 4 years to get the degree. It's not like you just register today and tomorrow your degree will come. It will take time. So you are on the right path. You are associating with devotees regularly, coming for classes, chanting the holy name. It takes time. Every woman likes to, after marriage, every woman likes to have a child, but cannot expect that immediately the child will born. It takes minimum 9 months. So you have to have faith. So now I am in the path. I am with contact with devotees. Like Giriraj Maharaj told a nice point. He said 90% of the advancement depends on the association of devotees. Another place Prabhupada said 90%. Another place Prabhupada said 99% on the holy name. That means combination of holy name and association. So certainly your desire will be fulfilled if you just keep persistently. Radheshyam Prabhu may like to add something to that. Please give the mic to Radheshyam Prabhu. Please, few words.
I only wanted to thank Prabhu for spreading this type of very wonderful consciousness that he is carrying with him. So many of you may be hearing class from Prabhuji for the first time. How many of you are hearing for the first time? These are all devotees who have come and hearing for the first time. So you can see this is the quality of consciousness that Prabhuji cultivates and spreads also. And he is very expert in taking yatras to Vrindavan, Mayapur, Puri and all the places. And he has heard my spiritual master's lecture so well. One time my spiritual master was in one of the yatras, he was speaking a lecture. And then everybody laughed. And Maharaj asked, why everybody is laughing? They said, Maharaj, Krishnananda has translated you ahead of you. because he knew what is the next point coming. That much he has heard Maharaja's lecture so thoroughly. So if you go to his room, you will find when he is taking bath, when he is shaving, when he is eating prasad, his Vaishnava Master's lecture will be continuously going on and on. So he has heard it hundreds of times, spoken it hundreds of times, and even in dream, even in the night, you shake him, wake him up, he can speak katha like that. So the two things I see Prabhuji doing, always chanting the holy name and always speaking Krishna katha and always blissfully situated. This is the meaning of Krishna Ananda Prabhu. Haribo! So Krishnananda Prabhu is with us for a week. He will be giving different programs. You all can take more advantage of his association. And he is also staying here. If anybody want to meet him personally and one-on-one talk to him and take association, you can do that. And if you wish to invite him to your student centers or other places. Actually, he is very good yatra taker. Just like this, he brought the books, he hardly opened the book. Just for the sake of bringing, he has brought it. That much he remembers the pastime so thoroughly. So it's very nectarian to hear him speak. He just transports all of us to another plane. So let us thank Krishnananda Prabhu with loud Haribo! Says Krishnananda Prabhu ki! Srila Prabhupada ki! Sandeep, what is the next thing?
Even if you wake up Radheshyam Prabhu in the middle of the night, he will start glorifying devotees. We are playing tennis, 1-1.
And we are enjoying the tennis. We are enjoying seeing the tennis. Hare Krishna. So we will now proceed for the prasadam, and after prasadam we have camp starting at 10:30. So please honor prasadam quickly and take whatever brief rest or whatever you want to finish your rounds, and then come at 10:30 at your respective venues. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.